So Donald Trump loves money. I mean, really, really loves it. If there's one thing that Donald can't resist, it's the sight of a shiny gold coin or a crisp dollar bill. He's the kind of guy who probably dreams in green, with dollar signs floating around his head at night. From the moment he wakes up, it's all about the deals, the cash, and of course, making sure everyone knows just how much he's got. And he loves tariffs even more. Seriously, if money is his first love, tariffs are a close second. You could say tariffs are his not-so-secret obsession. He talks about them with the kind of passion most people reserve for their favorite sports team or a beloved pet. Tariffs, to Trump, are like a magic wand. Wave them around and suddenly he thinks, America wins. One day he decided to put tariffs on, well, everything. Everything, he declared with a twinkle in his eye. It didn't matter if it was steel, cheese, or even rubber duckies. If it could be imported, it could be tariffed. He spun a giant wheel of products and wherever it landed, boom, another tariff. It was like a game show, but with real-world consequences. That's specific, said his advisors, nervously shuffling their papers. They exchanged worried glances, unsure if they should speak up or just let the show go on. Some business leaders started sweating bullets, wondering if their products would be next on the chopping block. The room was filled with tension, and maybe just a hint of panic. But Trump knew exactly what he was doing. Or did he? He strutted around with a blueprint labeled tariffs, acting like he had it all figured out. But when it came time to explain the details, he'd just shrug and say, trust me, it's gonna be huge. Confidence? Off the charts. Clarity? Not so much. First came tariffs on Chinese steel. He slapped those stickers on with gusto, convinced it would bring jobs back and make America stronger. The headlines blared and Trump beamed with pride, certain he was making history. Then on Canadian maple syrup. Because apparently even breakfast wasn't safe from the tariff train. Pancake lovers everywhere gasped in horror as prices crept up, but Trump just grinned, convinced he was sticking it to the Canadians. Then things got really crazy. Tariffs on penguins. They're taking all the good fish, Trump insisted. No one was quite sure if he was joking, but the penguins sure looked confused. Suddenly, even Antarctica wasn't safe from the tariff craze. Economists scratched their heads. Penguins? They started drawing up charts and graphs trying to figure out if penguins really were a threat to American fish supplies. Spoiler alert, they weren't. The news was filled with charts and graphs all trying to make sense of it. TV anchors debated the penguin problem with straight faces, while viewers at home wondered if they'd accidentally tuned into a comedy show. But honestly, one thing was clear. Trump's Tariff Tango was more of a clown show than a master plan. The world watched, half amused and half bewildered, as the Donald spun, danced, and juggled his way through economic policy, leaving everyone to wonder what he'd do next. Trump was on a roll. His confidence was sky high, and it seemed like nothing could slow him down. Every rally was bigger than the last, and his supporters cheered louder each time he took the stage. He strutted through the political landscape like he owned the place, never missing a beat, always ready with a new headline-grabbing idea. He'd conquered tariffs, or at least confused everyone about them. The economy was a maze of charts and numbers, but Trump made it all sound simple, at least to his fans. Whether the experts agreed or not, he spun the story his way, leaving everyone else scratching their heads, wondering if they'd missed something. Now, he had a new idea. What if I stayed president forever? He mused at a rally. The words hung in the air, half joke, half dare, as if he was testing the waters to see just how far he could push the boundaries of presidential tradition. The crowd roared with laughter. Some people clapped, others whistled, and a few even chanted his name. It was a moment of pure spectacle, the kind of thing only Trump could pull off, turning a wild suggestion into a punchline that everyone wanted to be in on. Trump chuckled along. He was just kidding, right? Or was he? With Trump, it was always hard to tell where the joke ended and the real ambition began. He winked, shrugged, and let the suspense hang in the air, keeping everyone guessing. But the jokes kept coming. Every interview, every tweet, every late-night monologue seemed to circle back to the idea. Was it just a running gag, or was there something more to it? The line between comedy and reality blurred a little more each day. There were images of Trump in a crown, Trump on Mount Rushmore, and even memes of him ruling from a golden throne. The internet had a field day, and the jokes took on a life of their own, spreading far beyond the rallies. Even Trump being sworn in by a hologram of himself. The possibilities were endless, and the more outrageous the image, the more people seemed to share it, laugh at it, and, just maybe, wonder if it could ever happen. It was absurd and hilarious. And, yeah, also a teeny bit concerning. Because in the world of Trump, sometimes the wildest jokes have a way of creeping closer to reality than anyone expects. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, though it might feel like another world entirely, there existed a place called Trumpland. This was no ordinary kingdom, but a realm where the extraordinary was just another day, and the impossible seemed to happen before breakfast. Or perhaps Trumpland was a place that lived only in the wildest corners of one man's imagination, a world shaped by dreams, wishes, and a touch of ego, where reality and fantasy often blurred together. In this magical land, a story of great importance was beginning to unfold, one that would be told and retold for generations, at least if the storyteller had anything to say about it. At the heart of Trumpland sat King Donald I, a ruler like no other. With a golden crown perched atop his unmistakable hair and a scepter that sparkled almost as much as his self-confidence, he presided over his kingdom with flair and drama. King Donald's home was a giant, shimmering golden castle, its walls not only tall and grand but also enchanted. Each brick and stone could talk, and curiously, they always seemed to agree with whatever the king declared, no matter how outrageous. According to King Donald, he was the fairest and most just ruler the land had ever seen. His subjects, at least the ones in his inner circle, cheered and applauded his every move, convinced that no one could ever lead Trumpland better. But beyond the castle gates, not everyone shared the same opinion. In the bustling villages and shadowy corners of Trumpland, whispers of discontent could be heard. Some villagers grumbled about the king's decisions, while others simply rolled their eyes and carried on with their day. And as in every good fairy tale, there were those who lurked in the shadows, enemies plotting and scheming, hoping to one day overthrow King Donald and claim the golden crown for themselves. Some even dreamed of snatching his prized collection of self-portraits, each one more flattering than the last, displayed in golden frames throughout the castle. And so, the tale of Trumpland began, full of intrigue, ambition, and a touch of magic. First, there was Shifty Knight, a sneaky and devious fellow who was always trying to trick King Donald. Then there was Hillary Queenton, a powerful sorceress who never seemed to go away, no matter how many times King Donald locked her in the dungeon. And let's not forget the fearsome DOJ dragon of Jalapeños, who breathed fire so spicy it could melt your hairpiece right off. King Donald fought bravely against these villains, or at least he tweeted bravely about it. So, did King Donald defeat his enemies and rule happily ever after? Did he ever figure out those pesky tariffs? Did he really try to stay president for a third term? Well, this is a fairy tale, and in fairy tales, anything is possible. But one thing's for sure, Trump's antics, whether in the real world or in his own little kingdom, never failed to make us laugh. The end. Or is it just the beginning? Stay tuned!